In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Nova S7 Expert Advisor by Ms. Meta Sophie Agapova. So this developer has put out a few different bots by now, and to date, most of them have been a bit on the sketchy side without much real strategy behind them. However, this one looks a little bit different. From what I can see, yes, there is a bunch of ChatGPT AI language, but from my initial backtesting as well as checking out the signal, it appears there might actually be something here. So starting us off here, we can see that it says that it's built on intelligent algorithmic trading with the DeepSeek AI framework, and it uses a dynamic context matrix and internal AI layer that merges data streams into a coherent probability model. So once again, this is the classic like fluffy marketing language, which you really don't have any like real information coming out of. It's just like jargon to make it sound like you're buying a quantum computer for $477. But realistically, I think it actually is a bit of a real strategy. It trades gold in the M15. This is kind of being added to the barrage of gold-based expert advisors which we've been seeing. And really there's a good reason for that. Gold being so volatile right now, and also it has been trending rather hard. Obviously that lends itself well to EA trading. It's much easier to make EAs if you have a very, very strong trending market, especially in one direction, because realistically, if something is going strong up, you could just buy it with leverage. You don't even need all that much in terms of algorithmic trading strategies. So it's a fairly straightforward process here. And now here we can see a few different kind of types of fake AI, which they're talking about, like the contextual market flow engine. It interprets market behavior as dynamic flow. That sounds very fascinating. Okay, the adaptive volatility synchronization aligns trading sensitivity with current volatility regimes. Also, it would be great if it could actually do that. I highly doubt it does. And the neural trade refinement memory. Apparently it learns. So, okay, yes, Brandon has done this successfully in the past. I highly doubt these guys have. And apparently there's some sort of DeepSeek built on top of it. From my brief perusing of the inputs tab, I'm not seeing any sort of actual API key. So I'd be a bit apprehensive that it's actually using DeepSeek too. So here we're seeing that it's been running for a bit. And from what I can see here so far, we've had one loss, the rest have been wins. And yeah, okay, one thing to note is that it does have a very inverted risk reward. They've just kind of manipulated the lot size a bit. So here we can see that the first few trades are just like enormous, but we're using a much higher lot size. But as soon as we kind of go down to the smaller lot size, it's clearly very inverted from a risk reward perspective. Also, we are trading on WellTrade, as we all know. That's our favorite scam broker. So WellTrade, you can just manipulate the signals so heavily that there's really no like actual information here. So these are all the meta ones, which are not awesome. They're all, oh, this is on ACY, which is actually very good brokers. So that's a little bit more legitimate. But once again, it's a really, really short signal. Yeah, so far not looking great. But less fake than the previous ones, which is also a good sign. So I actually took the liberty of running a back test here on Vantage, and to move my head, we can see that it looks like a real equity curve. And if we look at the actual back test, we can see an 86% win rate with a very inverted risk reward. So not quite a 1 to 10, but like a, say it's a 1 to 8 or something along those lines. So what that shows us is that it's really matching the equity curve here too. We have these long runs of winners, and then we have these big stop losses. And they're also being pretty aggressive in the actual risk used. And that's how we're turning 10 grand to $163,000. We're having a 47% drawdown. So this actually looks like it's not a fake equity curve, because like, yeah, you can take almost anything that's been trending and just like put a crap load of leverage on it and it will go up a lot, right? But then like in reality, if you were to Monte Carlo this, you're going to blow up your account. Like there's no way that you can, if you have a 47% drawdown in a back test, you probably have a 140% drawdown live. Not quite that much, but like you should always say, if my drawdown was double, will I still be happy? And here, like obviously you blow your account almost entirely. So like they're just gambling, but I'm sure we could go here and actually reduce the total risk. Going like right now, this is medium with a 47% drawdown. I do not want to know what high is if we're having a medium that has that kind of risk. But yeah, it looks like a classic inverted risk reward system. I'm also seeing that the actual trigger looks to be more of a trend follower. And we are seeing that they are pyramiding into position. So if they have a winner, they appear to be kind of adding to it. When they do have a loser, I've also noticed they occasionally have stop and reverse. So like, let me try and find a loser for us here. Yeah, here for instance, No, that's just a normal loser. Like sometimes it looks almost like when they close one position, they enter another one, but I don't think that's actually stop and reverse. It appears to be more like pyramiding. So if something's going well in their favor, they're kind of adding into winners, which actually is a very valid approach. Now, if we go into the inputs tab, to move my head back, we can see that once again they have various AI settings, but I'm not quite sure what those link to. Um, yeah, there's no API key, and I think it's fairly fluffy. But it looks honestly just like a pretty basic gold trading system. Probably, it doesn't quite look like a breakout system. It looks more like something driven by an oscillator, and they're pyramiding in, and they're using a huge stop loss. So there is a real strategy here. It doesn't look like a history reader or anything. It just looks like probably something which I would consider to be a pretty flawed strategy. Uh, do we see any indicators? No, they're probably hard coded because they're all market entries too. So most likely some sort of like oscillator-based system, indicator-based system. They're pretty easy to code, and they're using an enormous stop loss relative to the TP. So super inverted risk reward, and yeah, like definitely it's not a scam. I just don't think it's a very good strategy. Like trading on gold with this type of basic system, which is heavily like the signal's probably manipulated. It's probably just some sort of very basic trading system with a lot of AI marketing fluff and maybe a bit of manipulation in terms of the signal, and it just looks pretty mediocre. So honestly, guys, like it's not great. There's so many gold bots out there. I wouldn't buy this one. It's more just people who are going to fall for the AI crap, and they're going to think it's real AI when in reality it's not. But it's just probably some sort of basic oscillator system, not a history reader, not really a scam. It's just a bad product. So hope you guys found my video interesting, and I'll see you in the next one.